Hi everyone, I hope you're all good and you can hear me loud and clear. Rogers, please confirm your microphone and video is working well, so is Alela. And try to speak and share screen before we start. Very nice. I can see Alela is good. Maybe try to say one or two things or just the normal microphone testing.
Mic check.
Very nice. We can hear loud and clear. Rogers, you wanna go?
Yes. Hello, mic check.
Can we see you a bit? Share screen. Yeah. You can see the button for sharing screen. You can test.
For sure, yeah, I can see. Let me test.
Yeah. Try to share so that we diagnose in case there's any challenge. Perfect. Alela, you're good on sharing screen? Perfect. Perfect. So today we don't wanna take some time. If you're ready, we can actually begin. I would like to let me start recording afresh. Yes. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. We really appreciate you making time for this session. And for those who have been joining for the last 3 weeks, you are all welcome once more. We want to take some time to immerse ourselves to Module 1, specifically on Google. I'm sure for those who have been joining us for the previous sessions, you're all familiar on how to use Africa Stocking and Google together. So today, going forward, we'll spend some time across Africa on how to use Google specifically, but later on, we will actually put them together. And for those who have already started immersing themselves in different labs, you can also share your feedback because this program is running between now and December. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Graham and then eventually Alela and Rogers. So Graham, the floor is all yours. You can greet the attendees and say one or two things.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing very well. Okay. Just some sound on our side, 1 minute. Okay, I hope you can hear me. So a very warm welcome to all of you guys to this program. I'm going to start with the program launch, which is basically taking you through why we are doing this. And we are going to probably present this several times. Because we are online, we are bound to do this several times as people join us. So Africa is Talking and Google are happy to bring you the Build with AI series. And let me share my screen so that you can understand what we are working on together with Google. So very short. I've also shared it on the chat. Okay, so 1 minute. Let me share my screen. Yes. All right. Presenter mode. Where is the present slideshow? Good. So welcome to the Africa is Talking and Google Build with AI series. My name is Graham. I'm going to be taking you through the official launch of the program and then to invite Alela to also speak about what we're working on together. So this program, just an overview. Build with AI is a program that's going to run hybrid. We're going to bring together 3 physical events, Lagos, Nairobi, and Joburg, and then virtual events across the rest of Africa. However, given the reach we have with the various Africa Talking community leaders, you can also expect us to have additional physical events. And specifically, we are thinking about one in Accra, we may do one in Algeria, we may do one in DRC, Uganda, Tanzania, several countries, in addition to just the 3, Nairobi, Lagos, and Joburg. We are targeting at least 15,000 developers across Africa. As you may be aware, Africa Talking has at least 200,000 developers in our community. So we will be targeting at least 15,000 from this community or more. And we are going to be working to ensure at least 5,000 of them are certified by Google on various badges, and maybe even more than the badges. We'll have as we go through the program, we'll see based on how many badges you complete, what else you can be certified for. Our focus will be on Gemini APIs and Africa Talking APIs. And for this, we will have several projects and a capstone project that we will be evaluating at the end of the 3 months. Specifically from the Africa Talking side, we are looking forward to merging our voice SIP trunk with the Gemini real-time. So in reality, what this means is that you should be able to make a call to a virtual agent or a voice agent, and Gemini real-time will be able to talk to you based on the context that we share with it in a Google bucket. So we are working on that program. We want to see how that looks. It is a revolutionary approach, actually, if we think about the various contact centers across Africa. So that's going to be a big deal. Secondly, as we are focusing on these APIs, we will be having a guest CTO or senior engineer every week to come on the call, and for 15 minutes, you can ask them anything. And these CTO or senior engineers will be using Google Cloud. So they'll be talking about 3 things. They'll be talking about their journey on the cloud, their adoption of AI, and their talent opportunities. So we look forward to hosting them. And to our final point, which is tied to what I just mentioned, we are looking to foster innovation and local solutions through AI. So most importantly, we are going to be very keen on the voice agents implementation with Gemini real-time. What it means is that you can actually call a company or call an organization. You should be able to talk to a voice agent, which should be able to trigger actions based on your call, including fetch your details, maybe return to you some basic information or frequently asked questions of that company, and so on. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them on the chat, or can people raise their hands? Yes, or raise their hands. So the structure of our event. So we're going to have key in-person gatherings in Nairobi, in Lagos, and Joburg. So this means you can expect a whole day of hands-on, workshops at our physical events. And also maybe you can bring your questions. So the way we organize the series is that you'll be able to work together in teams or with the content that we share, And then at the physical events, we can now go deeper, or we can tackle the questions you are having. And most importantly, we can network. So for the physical events, we will always have a live stream of the physical events. So you can be sure that we will also be, and everyone is welcome to the virtual events. There will be some of them running concurrently. So you can expect to meet participants from other parts of Africa in these calls, Tanzania, Ghana, DRC, Uganda, Zambia, Rwanda, specifically at least the 23 countries at Africa, but also specifically we are going to foster that engagement across more than those countries. So with this hybrid approach, you should be able to access high quality learning experience and connect with your mentors and peers. So for every mentor, what you will experience is that they will also be giving you their notes or their Jupyter notebook, preferably before the beginning of the session or even after, so that you can also go through it. If you have any questions, we have a Slack channel. I think Kay will share it as well. So you'll be able to have access to a Slack channel. You'll be able to engage on there, but also going to be having the physical events is to bridge the gap. So today marks our official launch. However, we're having some activations in 1 week. We've had a trainer of trainers. And of course, if you are interested in being a trainer of trainer in your city, please let us know and we will point you in the right resources. So this marks our official launch of Build with AI series. And throughout this week and into next week, we could also do a few more of these just to make sure we are all on the same page and in case anyone missed and they have questions. Then we are going to be having midpoint workshops, which are the office hours. You can expect the virtual office hours between Tuesdays or Thursdays based on the program we will share. And then we're going to have every month and also the last month, some awards based on developers who complete the badges, the Google badges. So when you complete your Google badge, we will share with you a place for where you can upload your link to your badge. And every month, every guys who, based on the number of complete, should be able to reward you. And then, of course, the capstone project will have some rewards. And every day, you should be expecting some social media. I know we have delayed that a bit, but there'll be some social media awards as well. So we will work on the exact content and time starting this week with the mentors. So the learning modules you can expect, I don't know if you're able to, is it my internet? Can you guys hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, nice and clear.
You can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Graham.
I can see. All right. So the final slide, I think I'll share the slide there, but the final slide is the learning modules you can expect from us. So we have a packed Google and Gemini series, and you're going to use these modules, these tools from Google to integrate to the AT core services. So we're going to also show you especially how you can use the APIs from Gemini on the Google platform. And then you are going to culminate with your capstone project. Now, one other reason why we are collaborating with Google on this is because we will also bring in some of our customers, especially as you guys complete various of the projects throughout every month. So as promised, every week, we will be looking for senior engineers or CTO level to talk about their Google journey. But as you do your projects, we will also be bringing in customers who can look at what you're building and engage with you on some of the programs. So feel free to innovate and build and dream solutions that are impactful to African businesses. There is no limit to what you can build. Just this is like an initial, these are just like some rails you can use, but feel free to innovate, build beyond what we are sharing with you. As long as you are integrating Gemini and Google Cloud, as well as AT APIs, it is supposed over 17 sectors. So you feel free to innovate. So you can hold us to that promise that you will be expecting engineers every week, as well as connecting you to some of the customers building on Afka's Talking, and of course, building with Google. So I'll stop there, and if there are any questions, I'm happy to handle. Otherwise, just refer you back to our host, MK.
Graham, should I just continue as we're waiting for Michael?
He'll be here in a minute.
Oh, okay.
Mic check. All right. So thank you so much. That was a great. So I want to take much of your time. I would like to just notify you about your mic and ask a question. You just need to raise your hand. At the bottom of your screen, you can see after starting, there is I don't know if you can see that. And then you can raise your mic and ask the question to the presenter. Alternatively, you can post the rest with the presenter accordingly. So this will take us through the first part of module 1. I'll let you ask.
Okay, thank you. I will just share my screen if that's okay. Let me know if you can see it. Hi everyone, my name is Lela. I'll just use this particular template. I'm part of the developer ecosystem team at Google, and what we do with developers is we provide support to enable them to just learn how to, build smarter and ship faster. And part of what you're going to be covering as the collaboration between Africa's Talking and Google is content on Gemini. And so you'll see a lot of things on mobile, cloud, AI, and web, right? And so before I just jump onto what I'm supposed to cover, it would be good for us to think about why this is important. Now, everyday developers struggle with things like environmental setup, context switching, dependency changes, just keeping up with tech in general, right? And with all these changing behaviors, there's increased development complexity, which is something we need to remember. And we have also noticed that teams are increasingly becoming more geographically distributed. And before, case and sample, you think about building for one thing. So you'd look at, hey, I'm only building for one operating system. If I'm building for Android, it's only Android maybe on my phone or on a tablet. But right now you have to think about how you're building for mobile phone, how you're building for watches, how you're building for desktops, and even larger screens. Okay, great. Now, this is how we think the whole dev process is supposed to look like. Wake up, build, test, release, monitor, operate, code, and so on and so forth. But the reality on the ground is this is where we are. It's a headache, okay? So we are facing different challenges on a day-to-day basis. Now, so far, a pattern noticed is like things that are supposed to be easy are quite difficult. Things that are supposed to be fast are quite slow. And those that are supposed to be cheap are becoming relatively expensive. Now, where does the future of development look like? It's basically where you're able to build smarter tools, build smarter applications that run on smarter platforms, which is why this whole Google Cloud training is going to be quite important for those of us who are keen on learning how to build on smarter platforms, okay? Now, Graham has touched a lot on the Gemini side of things, right? And has mentioned also the fact that we are going to be seeing a lot of content on Gemini, a lot of content on the APIs, and also get to touch a bit on Africa's talking APIs, which is very important to see how these two things are going to merge together, okay? Where we are right now, devs are using more AI assistive tools to write code and configure applications. But if you look at it in the long term, we're going to be having developers setting goals for AI to create applications for them with little to no supervision. And on Google's side, most of these are hosted on Google Cloud, and you are going to also be able to run these applications on something such as Cloud Run. You are going to be able to think about fine-tuning your data on something such as Vertex AI. And so over time, you're going to interact with several developer tools, which is why I figured it would be important to just highlight some of them before we jump straight into the cloud credits. Okay, let's just jump. So the first one is for those of us who are going to be very, very new to this, you are going to get a chance to interact with Firebase Studio, which is powered by Gemini 2.5, Google's large language model. Now on Firebase Studio, if you get to that particular module, you'll get to experience the native agentic development experience on your browser. So you're going to be able to build on the IDE that is in your browser, and at the same time get the same experience that you would have gotten on a desktop. You're also going to get a chance to interact with more modern web frameworks, at the same time also build and run your production quality applications. If you're thinking about just prototyping as well to see how it works before you deploy on cloud, being that you will have credits, this is a chance for you to do so, okay? Second thing that you may get a chance to interact with is a tool known as Jules. Now, some of us have those repositories that are seated somewhere that we've not opened for a very, very long time. Now, with Jules, it's going to be able to integrate into your existing repositories, that it will clone your code base, create a virtual machine for you, understanding the full context of what exactly your code is like. Based off that, you could automate stuff such as writing tests, building new features, providing audio change logs, fixing bugs, and bumping dependency versions. Now, the beauty of Jules is also you're going to see that you are able to run everything asynchronously, right? And so you can focus on other tasks. So again, this is something that you should be able to learn over time. Throughout the course content, we highly encourage you to try using the Gemini Code Assist in any chance that you get. And basically what this is, it's going to just help you with your whole development process, like the whole SDLC, right? It is also powered by Gemini 2.5, supports all programming languages in the public domain, and most importantly, it's optimized for coding. So feel free to take a look at it. I believe one of the sessions is going to touch on Gemini CLI, And I just like to highlight this for those of us who are joining the call and it's your first time working with Google Cloud, and maybe you're going to be scared of the black screen like I used to be, basically the terminal. Worry not, Gemini CLI is going to be there for your rescue, and basically it brings the power of Gemini directly into your terminal. So again, what exactly do you get from this? It will understand your code, it will automate for you operational tasks, and also you're able to ground your queries. So what taking a look like? And the last part is going to be on AI Studio. So you will look at this as a sandbox for experimenting your model. So if you build something off the sessions and you want to see, all these other different models as well, how they would operate on the same thing, feel free to try them out on AI Studio. Okay. Last but not least is going to be on Gemma, which is also part of the module. So Gemma is an open model. What it's going to do for you is you're able to basically based on the same research that is used to develop Gemini, right? Now you have an open model that you will decide where you want to deploy, and also it has subsets. So an example is there could be something, if you want to do further research, you could do your research on something like MedGemma if you're keen on integrating AI in the medical space and just seeing how this works for you. So all these are tools that from Google's end, we are looking forward to you learning and interacting with as part of that. But how exactly are we going to make this possible? Now, for the duration of the coursework, you are going to have cloud credits, okay? I'm unable to hear. Oh, okay. Wait, I'm just seeing it wasn't a problem in my end. So for the duration of this particular coursework, for the next couple of months, you are going to get cloud credits. Should you exhaust the ones you have during the learning process, please feel free to reach out to the AT team and they will let us know and we will be able to get you more of that. Now, each one is worth $5, not a lot, but this is the link to it. So I'm going to just pause for like a minute. Feel free to grab any of these 5 links, right? Feel free to grab any of them and I will guide you through what to do next. Just let me just paste them. Okay. I'm just going to, so if I'm just going to paste one, just change the last numbers, that should do, right? And so this is the cloud credits that we're going to be using for the duration of the course. So why is cloud credits important? In case you're doing anything on cloud, I'm hoping you're aware you normally need credits to do so. Now, instead of us having you pay for that, we are offering you cloud credits to make your learning process easier. So step 1, I believe the link is on the chat. So just click on it. If you find that link is filled up, switch the number to 4, 3, 2, or 1. Any of them should work. Okay, you're going to be seeing something like this once you click on it. Please log in with your Gmail. It will not accept any other thing. With your personal email accounts, please log in. Okay. Somebody has raised their hand. I'm assuming there's a question. Oh, okay, sorry, that's a notification from me on chat, sorry. Okay, so you're supposed to see sign in with Google. Please proceed to do so. Use your personal email. Once you do so, as mentioned, click continue. It should be easy. And then please note that you need to click here to access your credits. So when you see that, click that particular place in order for you to gain access to your credits. Okay, just echoing that there. Then the first thing you're going to do is you're going to try to, okay, of course you have to accept terms and conditions, and then you're going to try to see under billing, or just if you scroll down, you should see something written, credit successfully applied. If you're not able to see that, just go under billing. You will see something known as cloud trial. So that should work for you. So you should be able to see under credits, you should be able to see it's written trial here, and the value should be at $5. So you should be able to see that. That should be enough for you to at least do 3 of the code labs. But if you want to experiment on more, that's well and good if you're more on a self-learning basis. So let me just know if we are all here. If anybody is stuck on redeeming credits, please let me know. Okay, great. Then you can start your project. So you can just create a project. You can always reference to this project. Now, when you do so, ensure that under billing, you select the one for trial or the one that has the $5 credits. Do not select one that you've linked to your billing information. So ideally, please ensure that your billing account here, okay, if you look at the right, there's a part written billing account. Please make sure it's written Google Cloud Platform Trial Billing. Do not use the one that maybe you're paying for. We are making this accessible for you at all costs. If you go to account management, you should now be able to see your project information there linked to that particular billing ID. Don't know if anybody is stuck at any point. On my end, I'll try see if there's anybody who has used up the credits or if we're having any challenges. Okay, seeing a majority of us have. Is that here or on a separate? Okay. I'm seeing a majority of us have already redeemed the cloud credits. Remember, you can always come back and pick up any of the links, the ones that work for you. Okay, now that we are there, we should be good to go. Moving forward, for every project that you're going to create, please link it to that particular billing information so that you do not get charged. Yeah, and based off that, I will just call it a wrap. If you want to vibe code, you can try out Firebase Studio. This is just a recap. If you have your already existing repositories and you want to make changes, right, check out Jules. If you want AI assisted software development, there is Gemini Code Assist. More of this is going to be covered as well. If you are going to look at a wide array of Gen AI projects, check out Gemini CLI. And if you want to look at all the different models that exist and also experiment with them more in a sandbox environment, check out the Google AI Studio. That's it from me. My name is Atieno Alela. I will just be on the chat to assist in any way possible, or if you have any questions with regards to the cloud credits. And now I will hand it back to Michael. MK, over to you.
Thank you so much, Alela. That's a great presentation. And I'm sure everyone has gotten that clearly. Just to note that this is recorded and it's going to be shared later after the event, so that in case you miss something, you can recap. Also, some links will be shared on the chat. As you have seen there, there is a redeeming code that is shared on the chat. Just copy and redeem it using your personal email and not work email, and you'll be able to redeem the credits. So not to worry, always keep us updated. We'll be sharing the Slack URL so that you can join in case you're stuck on any technicalities or the experts on that Slack channel. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Rogers to take us to the next part of the module 2. So Rogers, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'm happy to be here today. On module 1, we are mainly going to focus on building with Gemini and now hands-on, like how we are going to use now Gemini in building real applications. I know this is a gateway because over time we're building so many applications, and you may want to vibe code, vibe code applications, maybe to utilize AT APIs and so many other APIs. So this is like a gateway on how you are going to build with using Gemini. So, and also one way that we are going to use one way that we use Gemini to build applications is using Firebase Studio, which I'm going to introduce shortly. Firebase Studio is, allow me share my slides first for a moment. All right, hope my slides are visible from your end. Please confirm. Right. One way that Google has enabled us to build with Gemini is by using this tool, Firebase Studio. Firebase Studio is an integrated and extensible, agentic workspace to build, run, and manage web apps across platform, mobile applications, and backend services. This means you don't have to worry about integrations, environmental variables, dependencies. Once you start running, everything is configured, pre-configured, and then now your work is to develop. We are going to see at the interface. Firebase Studio has different interface for prototyping. There's where you can observe your code. There's where you can preview what you're building. There's where you can see environmental configurations, where you can access code, and also where you can also be vibe coding, sending changes to Gemini, do this, change this. Yeah, all those environments are there. And also it enables us, to keep switching back. It has made it easy for us to switch back to code, switch it back to preview. Yeah, we are going to see that. And also from the link side, from this module, from the events page, there is a link for modules, and this is the collab which we are going to interact with here. So let me share this link on the chat section. I've shared the link on the collab we're going to run. Yeah, so there are so many ways of building with Firebase Studio. You can start by prototyping, or you can start by loading a preloaded, applications, and then you start building from there. If I click on this prototyping, this is the first collab we are going to do. We get to this link, and then you can access Firebase Studio from here. You can go to Firebase Studio and then access it. And also, yeah, within the document, I'm sure you can find different links also to access, to have access to Firebase console. That is. So if I go to console, if I go to Firebase Studio, let me go to the new browser. I go to Firebase. Let me just type this because I can't. Okay, the exact link. I can go to Firebase Studio. Yeah, that's the link. From here, you can just try Firebase Studio. It will directly take you to the console. Yeah, from here, now it gives you the interface. This is the interface on where you will first be prototyping your application, before building the real applications. On this window, you have where you can prototype, and also here you can see the previous projects that I've been working on. So if you previously have not been working on projects, probably this one here will be blank. So you can create as many projects. I know it allows you to create up to 10 projects if you are on free mode, and if you are on premium, it will allow you to create as many projects as possible. So yeah, this is a place where you prototype. Prototyping, the app you want to build, which normally we call vibe coding. I'm going to pick here from this. I've opened some tabs, but I'm hoping you are able to see. We want to prototype an application, which is able to take in a picture, and then a picture of a meal, and then able to predict a meal, and then give us the ingredients and also the instructions on how to make that particular meal. So I want to copy this, and hopefully you are able to access this documentation from your end. So I'm not going to worry about that. Let me copy this and take it to our prototyping area. So generally, the prompt says like use a secure coding practice to create an error-free web app that lets users upload a photo or take a picture with their browser camera. You can take with the browser camera, or you can upload from your local machine. The app identifier the food in the picture and then generates a recipe and accompanying the image that includes that food. So generally, this is how it says. You can also be more specific to your prompting. The more you are specific, the more you get good results. For example, if you want to accompany this with an image, or you want to give specific code colors, you want your application to look like, you can also include them here, but we can do that later. So for now, let's first prototype this. Yeah, it will prototype. It will take some few minutes to prototype. Yes, we see here it's given us Firebase Studio will always give you on what's going to build. So it gives you an idea of features on what's going to be in our applications. So for example, if here we look at some few features, we are able to see like there is a feature to upload or capture a photo. You can also, there is a feature here that uses AI to identify the kind of food. We use also the recipe generation, image generation, and recipe display. If you can also continue to prototype from here, you can see here it has given the style color guides that's going to use. It's going to use these colors. If you want to change the colors or you want to prototype more, you can prototype from here. You can say change colors from red to blue, for example. I can say here, if I want to use here right now, we are using green, white, and some red color. You can say I want to use red and blue color. You can say use so if we use, oh my, I typed, okay, I didn't type red correctly. I made a spelling error, but still it's okay. It's blue. Okay, you can just leave it like this, but the idea is you can just prototype more. If you want to add more feature, you can prototype from here. But for now, let's say we are satisfied with the features, we want to proceed. And after that, you will also have the flexibility to add on some features or to prototype more. So I will prototype this. So as it's prototyping, maybe to mention, you can see what's going on here. You can see how it's generating codes, how it's creating different files within your code bases, the kinds of, I think you can see here the environmental file variable here is still here. The environmental that's going to store your Gemini API key is still here. You can see it's also generating some other more files. Yeah, as it's prototyping, and also one thing that I want to mention is we are going to use Gemini API. So, and there are so many ways for us to get the Gemini API, but the most common one is for us to get the Gemini API from AI Studio. For example, this application is going to use Gemini to identify, it's going to use Imagen 4 to identify the kind of food and also to give to identify the kind of food. That's like, screening the image and also to give the ingredients and also the instructions on how to prepare that meal. That's Gemini uses billing. So that's why you have free cloud credits. I'm going to show you how to connect your cloud credits to your project, and then that project you can use that project to obtain the API key. As it's prototyping, let me just proceed to AI Studio. So I can open a new tab. I go to AI Studio. If you go to aistudio.google.com, I'm also going to paste that link here on the chat. This is the interface for AI Studio, and here on bottom left side, you can see where you can get your API key. If you click Get API Key, it's going to these are the APIs that I already have. If you don't have the APIs, don't worry. So I want to create a new API key, so I will just proceed to this section. I can just give it a name. Let me call it 80. Yeah, 80 training. That's okay. And also, you are supposed to select a project. Why is it not allowing me to select a project? So I'm supposed to select a project, import a project. Oh yeah, on my crowd, you can see the listed project that I have. Right now, I only have one project. So this is the project which I have on Google Cloud, and it's connected to my credits. So if you want to know if your console, if your project is connected to credits, you can just go to your cloud console, console.cloud.google.com. I am working on this project. You can see my project, which I'm currently working on, is Gen Apps 2. That's how I named it. Your project, if this is your first time of opening a cloud account, automatically it opens a project known as like my first project. Yeah. So if you want to see if your project is connected, so you can go to billing. This is where you will see which projects are connected to what billing account. Yeah, so you can go to manage billing accounts. If you go to manage billing accounts, you will see different billing accounts that I have, and my projects are here. If you come here to my project tab, you will see how many projects I have and what billing accounts are connected with. So I'm using this Gen Apps 2, which is connected with my billing account. So if you want to change this billing account, you can always change from here, change billing account. So you can see also I have other projects which are connected to different accounts. So in your case, if you log into this, if you browse to this section, you are supposed to see on which project you're working on and see if the project is connected to the right billing account. So this my billing account. Of course, it has my credits. That's why it's connected. For your case, probably you are supposed to be connected with Cloud Credit, Google Cloud Platform Trial Billing account, which has your cloud credits. Right. Let's go back up. That is well explained. So if we go back to this, you see I want to obtain a new API key. I have given my API key the name 80 training, and then I've connected with my project, which is Gen Apps. I want to create the API key. It automatically creates an API key. Right. It has created the API key. So if I come here, what was the name of the API key? Right. I have so many API keys, so that's why I'm keeping confused. But yeah, you can see here, this is the 80 training. This is the API key which I've just created now. These are the previous API keys, don't worry. So if I click on this, you have an option to copy the API key from here. Yeah, but if you want to see more about the API key, you can also click on it and you're able to see more information about the API key, yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to show you where we are going to use this API key. Let's see first if our prototyping Agent did its work. Yeah, right. Beautiful. You can see it has generated a web application. From this web application, we are able to upload an image, or we are able to use a camera to, to take a picture. If you, assuming you are viewing this from a phone, you can, it's easy to take a picture from your phone. Yeah. Okay, this, I think we can just try to see. If you look before that, our application might not work because we have not connected to the Gemini API key. And one good thing about Vibes Studio, it will detect and it will tell you like, we think this application appears to be using, Gemini APIs, or it needs a Gemini API. So automatically it will give you a place here for you to input your API key, which you obtain from AI Studio. So for now, we want just to see what happens if we don't just put this API key over here. We want to see if it will work anyway. Let's see. Select an image of the food. You can just Google an image from here. Can say I want ugali image. Maybe this seems to be good meal. This is ugali. I can see some fish. Yeah, ugali fish. Let me download this image. Let me download this image. Okay. We are going to use this image to detect. We just want to see where is that image? Yeah, here's the image. So yeah, so we want to generate the recipe. See if it works. You see, automatically it gives you an error on this side. So it requires a Gemini API key. And also, there is this option for auto-generate. Auto-generate will, yes, it will generate an API key, but it will give you a free version, which will not work in this case because we are using Imagen 4 to detect the kind of food, so it's not going to work. We can also auto-generate. Maybe we see what happens. If I click auto-generate, it automatically generates Gemini API key, random Gemini API key. It's input that's on your environmental variables. But it's a free version. I don't think it's going to work. That's why it requires a billing, a build Gemini API. That's why we were using Google Cloud Redis for this work. It's generating. Let's see how it works out. Maybe if there is any question so far, I can take this time to answer some questions. If there is any question as it's generating. Okay, it has automatically generated a Gemini API key. So if I come here and maybe try to detect this, can see what happens. All right. Any questions so far? Hopefully you are able to connect, with your project, billing account. That should be easy. But if you have having any challenges, you can say it on chat. Yeah. Hopefully it's detecting. It's taking quite some time. I don't know if it's a bug feature. Yeah, there's an error. Yes, this is the exact error I was talking about. It's failed to fetch generative features because it required Imagen 4, which is accessible to build users. So this is the reason why it will not work. So that's why we generated a build API key from this side. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy this Gemini API. I come to here. You know, Gemini is always here. You know, you can write code. You can always tell it to change things. You can do this. So I'm going to tell my agent to change Gemini API to this. Yeah, it's going to, you know, to locate that file in within .env file and then change that Gemini API. We're going to see if it's successful. Right, you can see, of course, I will update this. Your API key has been updated. So, and it also tells you the exact file which is updated. In our case, it's .env file, which is correct. So I'm going to try also again to identify the kind of the image. Yeah, hopefully now it works because we are using the build Gemini API key. Okay, as it's working, it syncs out. Maybe to mention some few things. This is our preview. Our preview meaning like after prototyping, it gives you a preview on how your application is going to look like. And now you can decide to jump into, you know, observing the real code behind this application. There is direct here button for you to go to code. And or maybe in some cases where you are being satisfied with the application which you have prototyped, you want to jump straight to publishing or making it live. There's a publish button over here. But right now, let's see first what's there for us. Of course, there is very bad fonts which we can change later. But let's see if the logic is quite okay. You can see it has one of one of the prompts we were indicating, like after identifying the image, you regenerate the image. So this is the image this is a new image which is regenerated with a fishy with fish and ugali. I'm not quite sure if ugali looks like this or this is uji from the Kenyan side. But anyway, it has identified this as there's fish, there's ugali here, and yeah. So in a large scale, of course, our prompt was to identify the kind of food which is correct here. It's ugali, the large, and I'm not able to read through all this. I'm going just to pick some few things. And also there's fried whole fish here, tilapia. Number 3, there's cooked leafy greens, skuma wiki. That's correct, I think. Right, and some information typical, so and stew. Yeah, which is correct. And also we want to see if it generated the ingredients which was supposed to. If I look here, here you see all the information is there, what you need to prepare the meal, and also the instructions are from there. 4 cups of water. Of course, also I'm not going to read through all this. I know most of you know how to prepare fish, but here I can see prep time is about 30 minutes. 4 cups of water you need, equipment, and so many other things. So from here we can see, like, the functionality side is very okay. But also you can proceed to change so many things, like the fonts. You want to change the background, you want to change other things. From Firebase Studio, you can build so powerful applications. You can know the kind of UI you want to generate. Of course, we are not going to delve much into UI. We wanted just to see how the functionality is working. Okay, we can from here we can just proceed to the code side. We see how the interface looks and what you're able to change from the code size. Still you have access to the agent to chat, still you have access to code, and also still you have access to preview mode. So okay, let's tune its things. I think it has tuned the web preview, and also from this side it's a readme here for instructions. Yeah, and also we want to see where specifically our Gemini API is stored. It's here. If you come to .env file on this side, you are able to see your Gemini API, which is here. Yeah, which is exactly the same which is here. Okay, so this you have access to code. On this interface, you have access to code, you have access to web preview, and also you have access to Gemini, your agent, for building. I'm not sure what we can change from here. Maybe we try to change the, what can we change from here? Of course, I don't have specific design in my head, but can maybe try to see, to demonstrate like how you can, alter the changes from this window. We can just try to change this title maybe to red and change the background. I want change the background to white. Yeah, we see change it to white. If you have a specific design in your head, you can always be prototyping, vibe coding, changing codes here and there, and then you achieve your desired output. And also remember, you can always, if you have maybe an application that you want to look similar, it's an option to upload your image. For example, if you have a designed interface and you want to make the exact interface, you have an option here to upload, a photo, and tell Gemini like, these are exactly I want my interface to look like, and it will prototype you that specific design that you want. It's doing its thing here. I want to also welcome if there is any question on what we have done so far. If there is any question on what we have done. Okay, remember we have prototyped this, and also Firebase gives you the flexibility, to use a preloaded template. Maybe your application is Python based and you want to build your application in Python. We are going to see how we can do that in a few. It's taking some time to prototype. Let me check on chat if there is any question. Where do you get, okay. Where do you get a prompt? Okay, I'm not sure on the question. I've not understood the question well. Where do you get a prompt? Do you mean like where we can access Firebase Studio? Okay. It's prototyping. I think because of time, we can just leave this window open, and then we see what other options we have with Firebase Studio. As I said again, you can build Firebase an application from pre-loaded templates. If I come here on this pre-loaded template, where you can select on the kind of environment you want your application to be on. you can give your application a name. For this, let me give my application a name again, AT training. The environment, yeah, you have now, this is the option I was talking about. Like, you have the option to select on which environment you want to work on. Right now, currently, I know there's so many environments which are on the way coming, but right now we have three, like the Python notebook, and Python web for Flask, and also, of course, JavaScript. So I think there's so many environments which will come up later, but right now it supports this. If you select on Flask, and then you have option also if you want to use LangChain. LangChain is a Python framework for building RAG agents. You can also select it if you need LangChain to develop your application. And then if you create this, it's going to spin up the environment for Python. Okay, this is what I was talking about. Definitely, unfortunately, I have my limits. So I can go back to my Firebase Studio and delete one project because I have so many projects over here. Okay, let me, archive some which are not useful. Let me archive this. Let me do this. Let me also delete. Also, I can also delete one. Okay. Okay. Now it's going. I think now it's able to allow me create a new project. I can give it AT training. I want to use Python for Flask, and I want to create a project. Okay, it will spin up the environment. You can see it's spinning. It's putting all the environmental variables you need to know the dependencies to build your application. So it's spinning up that environment. That's why we say, like, Firebase Studio comes in handy. Like, we are not now in the age. Maybe if you are doing it locally, you find your laptop does not support certain kind of environment. With Firebase Studio, it's easy. Like, things should be easy to work on, so you don't need to worry about resources which your laptop has or anything. Yeah, so you see it's automatically spins up the template, the pre-loaded template with the files. It sets up the environment. You are able to see that from here. It will do some configurations here. Yeah, you see it's spinning up the environment variables and everything that you need in one place, so you don't have to worry about the dependencies. Okay, as it's spinning it up, let's check on our application here. It's still doing something. I'm not sure which thing is. Maybe it's. I can just refresh this. I'm not sure why it's doing that. I can just stop it. It's still spinning it up, but anyway, it's taking some time, and because of time, maybe. But you see what's required. You can always change things from this side of the panel. Gemini, you have the Gemini access to build on, to prototype, to change things in your applications. And also, if you are good, you can also, and code, like, you want to change files manually by yourself. You always the capability to do it from here. So one thing also I want to talk about is about taking your application online. Firebase Studio gives you the capability just to publish your applications right away from this window. So if you want to take this application, we want to publish this application, as I said earlier, again, we have to click on publish button over here, and then you have now to select the kind of project, the kind of billing, the billing account which you want, your project to run on. Again, I have so many billing accounts, but don't worry about that. I was using this, so I will again use this billing account. Okay, and then I want to enable Firebase services. Of course, I will initialize this to initialize Firebase to start setting up the environment for my app hosting. So it takes some time over here to set that. Right. On my chat section, I don't see. Right, prompt to generate app. Okay, I think Gregory is asking for the prompt, the specific prompt that we used in this case. Maybe Gregory, if you have no access to it, I can also copy the prompt that we used. Is a prompt? Yeah, it's here. Let me put the prompt on the chat. This is the prompt we use to generate the application. It's on the chat section. Yeah, we see our hosting environment is set up. Now we want to publish. You can do this right now, or we do it later. You can do it now. So it will publish your application, and of course, it will give you your listing URL for you to test if it's working. So it will take like 5 minutes. We are not going to wait for 5 minutes. I will just switch to another window, but this one is building. It will take some few minutes. Let's go back to our, we were setting up, yes, we are using up, the preloaded. Now, if you want to use the preloaded template for you to start from there, for you to build application from the preloaded, this is what it gave us. This is the preloaded template. It's working with the Gemini API. So this specifically, it provides an example of a recipe for what? Okay, yeah. Like, for example, it gives you the recipe, like what you can do from this. If I do this, I'm not sure it will not work because we have not connected our Gemini API. So, but let me try. If I click on go, you can see there's an error here because we have not connected to our API. So if you come to main.python, here main.py, this is where we are going to connect. This is where we are going to connect our Gemini API. So let me look for that to do. You can see the C option to connect the API. So let me go here to this. I copy this API. Oh I keep losing that. I keep losing. Okay, second tab. I copy my Gemini API to this. I'm not sure if we are going to leave the quotes, but let's save this and see. This is saved. Again, I can reload this and try. Yes, you see now it works. Like it works now. It's able to give us the kind of recipe we need. Yeah, and also the tips. You can also check for this. So it also works. Now, the main idea for this is you can start, the preloaded templates you can start from with all the environments that you need to start building from it. So this what I wanted to demonstrate, but now let's also come here and see if it's still publishing. Okay, maybe I take this to answer question if there's any question. You can also raise your hand if you want to talk or if you want to speak and ask a question. Okay. I don't see any questions, so we proceed. Yeah, this one is taking, I don't know if 5 minutes are over, but it's taking, still it's publishing, so maybe we have to wait for that case. Right. All right. Also from the preloaded template, we also have options to change things here. From here, you can ask the Gemini directory to change to alter a particular file or to change. So I want to change because the other one didn't work. It took a lot of time. We didn't see how it can work. So let me also do this from this side. Maybe we see. So I change. Maybe we change button background color to red. Yeah, let's prototype. Maybe change. Let's change. We see how it works. So generally, this is how we can use this one way of you can use Gemini to build application. Gemini with Firebase Studio, to write code to prototype applications, and then to push your application to push your application to online, to publish your applications online. Okay, let me see here. Right. Finally, we are online. This is the link. For us, it has given us this link, and you can see right now it's online. So from here, you can share this link with anyone to check if it works. Let me also share this link here in group. I don't worry. I know I have some credits so I don't worry. Don't mind sharing the link here, so for you to test and maybe to see how really it is, like how fast you can build the applications, from prototyping to taking your applications online without, worrying about the environment, worrying about the infrastructure on where you are going to host your application. It's much easier. So maybe to test if it works from mine. I know we have done this before. Let me test with a different image. Don't know what this it is, but this looks like a stick. Yeah, you can generate this and see how it works. So we have demonstrated the process of prototyping, making changes and taking your applications online. And you can build very powerful applications from Firebase Studio. You have an option to connect to Firestore. If your application needs a database to store information or to retrieve information from, you can always use Firestore for that particular process. So it's taking some time to maybe it's identifying the image. This is not how really like wood application works. Of course, if you want to vibe code more and maybe put a loading sign that goes around, maybe to indicate that I'm still working on it. So it looks really curious. So it's something you can also, as the more you vibe code, the more you get the results which you need. So it works. So we have tested it locally and we have tested it online. It works. So simply, this is the process. Let me see if the other application. Okay. If you see here, it's one thing with vibe coding. Of course, you'll be interacting with files. Like here, Gemini is identifying like for your request, this is the kind of file we are going to change, and it has given us like we are going to change this file style.css. This is the one we are going to change to red. So you give it a permission, like you can say like, yeah, update or fix, go ahead and change. If you come here, you see some changes have taken in place. See some code being changed in real time, which is a pretty thing. Yeah, I have changed the button background. Oh, now I have to refresh. Of course, supposed to change. Yeah, you see, it has changed the color of the button. So I'm imagining this if you have like a specific design in your head, like this is the app I want to build. Firebase will give you that capability to vibe code till you get what you want, like the specific design. We are doing this because I didn't have specific design in my head, so we are just changing some little things here, of course, which does not make significant changes in UI, but just to demonstrate on how it works. Yeah, I think that is what I wanted to demonstrate for today on how you can build with Gemini using Firebase Studio. And we have built an application which is successful from prototyping to taking it online. So I don't know if there is any question, but I think what I majorly wanted to cover, I've covered today. If there is any question or any contribution to that. Thank you. I take it to, if I look at my chart, okay, Gregory is requesting if we put an image of a bicycle. I don't know what you mean, but okay, I put an image of a bicycle. You mean if, okay, can try that. Okay, so let's download this. I know we want to check the capability if Gemini is able to identify if this food or not food, maybe. That's why Gregor is requesting for that. So let me download this image of a bicycle. So basically what we're trying to do is if you want to upload an image which is not food, which is not an image of food, what will happen? Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Let's do that. Let me locate my online one. Where is my online? Okay, I don't know where it is. I also went tabs. I think, yeah, which is very okay. This module needed so many tabs. We were working with so many things. I'm looking for my online. Yeah, I think it's this one. Yeah, this is my online app. So let's try with the one with the bicycle. Yeah, definitely it's not going to work well because it's supposed to identify the kind of food. I'm really worried what this is going to be the output. So yeah, it will take some time. Let me also look at the chart. Okay. Okay, majorly Firebase gives you, the powers to build applications. even if you have less knowledge of code, or you are not that good to code, but you have an idea on what you want to build. I want us to imagine this scenario where I have an idea, like I want to take in a voice, my voice, and send that voice to API, Africa Tokens API. So, but really in my head, I don't know how to do it, but in my head, I know what is supposed to be done. So I can just come prototype an application that takes in my voice, maybe on call, and then send that voice to API, and then it gets the request. So it's very easy to prototype that once you have an idea. So that's why I say, like, they start, like, this is like the gateway. We are going to build applications consuming so many APIs from AT. And this is a gateway, for example, to see how you can build, even if you don't have you're not so good in code, but you want to build, you have an idea and you want to build that application. For Gregor, let's see what it did. Oh my God. It's a bicycle. Yeah, of course it identified it's a bicycle, which is correct. This is a bicycle, but let's see. What's this? Maybe it gets confusion from the previous image that we have been using, but Gregory, you can see it detected like this is a bicycle, and it's yellow. It's even gave you colors, and it generated. So because it didn't find food in bicycle, it really generated an image and added a donut here. I don't know if it's a cake or something, and now it gives the instructions on how to prepare this cake. Yeah, I think that's what it did, but this is not much perfect, of course. But if you continue prototyping, you get the perfect the perfect application which you need. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all from my side. I just give it back to Graham, and if there's any question, I'm still here to answer. Yeah, thank you so much.
Superb. Yeah, thank you very much, Rogers. This is a wonderful, wonderful session. Any questions from the team? Actually, this is a good start. I really liked what you have been sharing. Also, what I saw with you didn't touch the Gemini CLI, but I guess it's coming soon. I didn't actually know there's a Gemini CLI, so I'm very excited to give it a spin. Any questions for Rogers? Also, I noticed that Alela shared a link to the Google credits. So anyone who is struggling to access Google credits, please let us know in the chat so that we can support. Yeah, there is also the yeah, I think everything's covered. So Rogers, are you going to share this code somewhere in addition to the notebook?
Yeah, I will share the code later and also the slides. I didn't have massive slides. I have few slides
Okay,
here, so I'm
okay.
going to share later.
I think we can collaborate on that to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we are waiting for any questions that may be there. Secondly, I think to mention, Rogers, should we give would you like someone to come and replicate the solution but with a twist, so that in the next call we can give away some swag? Maybe that's
Sure.
something we can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe you can try and replicate a simple website with Gemini APIs. And then we will share on email with everyone who has attended, but also with the community. Also, we'll put it on the Slack channel where you can give us a link to your working app. So then in the next call, we're having the next call on the 23rd. We should be able to review some of them, and then we will all vote which we think is the best one. Also, we are also going to look at how many of you have finished your first badge. So that will be also something that, but before the end of today, we'll have sent you a place where you can just update the badges you have been working on. And also anyone who has finished the project that Rogers was working on today. In the next 2 days, we should be able to give you guys some swag, some goodies, get this show running. I think MK is ready. It's not ready. Okay. So if there's no other question, I think we should be kindly share the recording. Yes. So let me take some of the of the of the comments on the chat. Mark, kindly share the recording after the session. Yes, that will be done. To everybody who has joined. Can I upload my locally developed app to Firebase Studio and deploy? There's a question for you here, Rogers, from Baruti. Marwan, you can answer that before we go to the next question.
Okay, taking your locally developed application to Firebase Studio and host. Okay, I think there's maybe a misconnection here. You can still, of course, Firebase started as, hosting like applications, mobile web applications. And then Firebase Studio, it's for prototyping applications. It's more for vibe coding applications, which was normally the name. Previously, it was known for DX, Project DX. It started as Project DX. And now, because it's now renamed, it was rebranded to Firebase Studio, it's for vibe coding. Normally, if you have an application and you want to host on Firebase, now on Firebase, not Firebase Studio. Firebase Studio is for vibe coding. You want to host on Firebase, you have the capability to do that. Yeah, those are two different platforms.
So I'm just going to jump in to help answer this question. So yes, you can import your
All right. I
repositories.
see there's a
So
question from Alela.
no,
Alela, please.
I was actually helping to answer. So you can import your existing repositories. So if
Or
you
maybe it's
go
a
there, there is.
comment.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Alela.
Okay. So I'm saying you can actually import your existing repositories into Firebase Studio if you go there, and then you will use it just the way you would another IDE. You still should be able to integrate with the Firebase capabilities and so on and so forth. So yes, you should be able to do so. I hope that answers the question. Yeah.
Are there more questions? I see there is a, can I also use Firebase Studio to generate mobile app? Rogers, any feedback on that?
Firebase Studio to generate mobile apps. I think for now, if I'm not wrong, no, because Alea, you can answer that. Because right now the environment I see for vibe coding is for vibe coding web applications. I'm not seeing any for mobile application.
So maybe because you're already on your device, just something to note is when you vibe, like when you're starting with the prototype, it gives you your code in Next.js, so which is not going to be in a mobile phase, but you can pick a template. Okay, so if you go through the templates, maybe if you don't mind, Rogers, because you are on your device, just go to Firebase Studio. If you look through, you should be able to see all the available templates under mobile.
All right. Is it answered? Can you guys hear me? All right. Maybe we should wait for Rogers.
Yes, Alela, you were saying something. I got to Firebase Studio.
Okay, so go under templates. Like just scroll down under those start coding the app with like that part. Try to view more. And then there's going to be a part 4. So you will be able to see all the templates. Or another option is just view all templates.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll see the one for Flutter, if I'm not mistaken, and
this Flutter here actually.
And you should be able to see, So when you start off from that particular template, you can build on top of it. You can keep asking it to build for you features as you progress. Hopefully that answers the question. Yeah, that's basically it. But it won't prototype for you.
So as Rogers demonstrates the mobile app, for those who are asking about AT APIs integration, we have done 4 sessions. They're already on the blog and on YouTube. You can go and follow them through. But definitely after these modules up to 10 for Google, or where we'll have in-person event, we'll cover them once more. But all that detail is there. The code is on GitHub, and the projects or the capstone project demos are also shared on the event blog. You can find all that on Google Drive.
Rogers,
yes. Okay.
Okay, yeah. We were opening the Flutter templates. It's setting up the environment again. As Alela said, it gives you a template, but you are not able to pipe code from it. Yeah, which is okay. It's showing them the errors. I think for system UI, this code is spinning up something in some environment. So probably it might take time, but again, we have the information on how it works. So.
Maybe just to add now that at least I've stopped. So you can actually just more or less have the same agentic capabilities also there. So you'll still be able to have the conversation, pick between the 3 modes that Firebase Studio has, which is Ask Agent, and also just automating the whole thing. So if you feel like you just want a template to start with, then you get this. But for prototyping, you won't be able to prototype a complete application. So it's like you have to have first the template and then know what you want and then go to that particular Ask Gemini part and then you can start convo. Yeah, from there. That's, yeah.
So a question here. Did we answer Patrick's question? How do we access projects to work and content to work? I think, Patrick, we have some modules that there are some notebooks you can begin looking at. I think MK has answered them there. So, okay, it's my first time here. How do I access these modules? So we should be able to send you, I will send you a link in the follow-up email. We'll send you a link to all the modules so that you can start working on them and be self-paid. So you can expect in the follow-up email to this session, we will provide you with all the module links, the notebooks to the links. And then, of course, in the next virtual event, which will be on Thursday, you can ask us if you are stuck, or also you can just join the Slack channel. If you are stuck, just ask in the Slack channel. We'll also be able to support you. So no problem, Patrick. I don't know if I have missed any other question. Cloud credits have been shared, the link has been shared. You can claim it. Yes. So thank you very much for this session. Just take any other last comments before we say happy Tuesday to all of us, those on the eastern side and those just coming out of lunch on the western side of Africa. Any final points? Maybe Rogers, Alela, MK?
More good from my side. Thank you so much, Rogers. Thank you, Alela. We look forward to the Thursday's session, which will be happening the same time to accommodate all the time zones in Africa and beyond. So this session will be published as soon as possible. Look out for it on every event that you register for. You can go and check the same link and you'll find a published video of the recording. Also, we'll cross-publish it on YouTube. Yeah. So Michael Bryan is asking, Module 7 Google Lab requires a token. Where do we get this token from? I think this is a question to Alela. Alela, I don't know if you got that. So Michael will consult with Alela for this question and get back to you.
I'm here.
Yes.
So, Michael, for those particular ones that require tokens, we replaced them with other labs. So
Okay.
you can actually just do the alternative labs. So you'll find labs that are more or less the same to what we had before.
Okay.
I'm sure
Okay.
the Africa Stocking team is going to be able to share with you a more detailed, curriculum that was updated that has the current content. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the exception is this module, but for other modules, we'll always publish that particular module, and then below it, we'll publish all other modules. So in case you have already done that, you can self-paste to other modules. So not worry about that, including the alternative labs where you can work on. So for the Thursday event, expect more detailed blab with all those links and modules. Thank you so much. Looking forward to what you guys build going forward, and all the best to all the engineers in the house. Until next time, goodbye for now.